I'm going to share with you in depth the pros and cons of both Shopify and Amazon FBA, and I promise the answer will guarantee surprise you. E-commerce is growing like crazy. Retail sales went from 12% in 2019 to 16% in 2020, and just last year, that number jumped up to 20% in retail sales. There's a lot of growth in the e-commerce space, and just 50% of e-commerce sales are on Amazon. With Amazon, I've made about $80,000 in e-commerce sales with my product Vino cards. I've been a full-time e-commerce entrepreneur for over 4 years now, and that is because of the opportunity and ability to sell and work online. But which platform should you use? So that's why I'm going to break down the pros and cons of two of the biggest ones, Shopify and Amazon FBA. So make sure to hit the like button because I'm going to share the honest truth in this video that no one else has shared. First, let's dive into the pros of the Amazon FBA platform. Half of all of the e-commerce sales happen on the Amazon platform, which means that's a lot of traffic on just one website that customers go to, and that means a huge potential for customers. Amazon is a $1.6 trillion company, and 2/3 of their sales come from third-party sellers like myself. In 2020, Amazon did over $400 billion in sales. It's growing like crazy, so it's even crazier that they let sellers go on their platform. That's over 200,000 sellers making over $100,000 a year. They make it really easy to sell on their platform. You also don't need a lot to sell a product on there. You can start with very little and focus on one product or many products depending on what you want to do. You also don't need to build out a website like you would on Shopify. You're using Amazon.com and customers already know that website. Plus, you don't need to worry about advertisement. And that is because there are already 112 million Prime customers shopping on Amazon versus Shopify, where you have to convince customers to go to your website, and often it could be a website that they're not familiar with. So it takes that extra step. It's an extra challenge or barrier to get customers to come to a different website. And on Amazon, people know it already. The average conversion rate on Shopify is about 1 to 3% versus Amazon, where that number is 10 to 30%. And that means people are going to your product listing and it's converting to a sale. Customers are more likely to share their personal information on the Amazon site as well. So that's credit card info, home info, versus on a website through Shopify, you have to kind of make sure that the customers feel comfortable sharing that info, and they have to question it more, which would likely maybe turn them away, losing out on a sale. There are still some cons to Amazon, and I'm going to jump into those in just a bit, but let's first explore the pros of Shopify. Shopify is a massive company in its own respect. Shopify is a $150 billion company with stocks tripling in just 1 year, making it a very fast-growing company. It's also very easy to create your own website using Shopify. It's customizable, and there are many things that you can add to a website in order to stand out. You also don't need to provide documentation to start your website or wait for approval like Amazon requires, though there are certain products that you cannot sell on Shopify where you can on Amazon, but I'll go into that a little later. Another pro is that you do own the customer data on your website, which means that you can't get kicked off from this website and lose all access to everything you've gained as far as customer information and all of that. Where on Amazon, you're kind of surrendering to their word, their way of doing Amazon business, so it's a lot harder to lose access on Shopify. You own that information. You also have creative freedom with creating your website, and you really want, again, to stand out with your website, where on Amazon, you are pretty limited to one listing page. It all looks very similar to other sellers on Amazon. The only difference is the product and maybe the images, description, etc. that you have on your product listing. But with Shopify, you don't have to worry about that. There are hundreds of ways to customize. There's also a lot of internet marketing opportunities that you can have on your website that you wouldn't be able to have on Amazon. And that includes having influencers, there's Google ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, YouTube ads, and SEO. So it's a good way to rank on the top of search results in Google. There's also social media and TikTok, which is just blowing up. Before jumping into the cons, and trust me, there's a lot of them, make sure to hit the subscribe button because I'm going to be doing a lot more in-depth videos like this to help get your site started and your business booming. Now let's start with the Amazon cons first. Amazon is a pretty saturated market at this point. There are over 9 million sellers on Amazon. That's a lot of competition. But the thing to note here is that they're not all active sellers, not active users on the platform. Out of the 9 million sellers, there's only a small number of those that are actually in the US. That's about 2.5 million. And out of that number, 2.5, there is only 1.9 million active sellers. That means they're actually on there selling their product, getting a lot of customers to come to their listing. And out of that 1.9 million active sellers, a lot of them may not be taking it seriously. They may be selling miscellaneous items or selling a product that's not very creative or passionate. It's very competitive with other similar products on the market, so it might not be a huge competition. They may not even be watching YouTube videos or taking courses on how to sell on Amazon, and the truth is it is pretty expensive to start on Amazon. Although it is possible to start with $0, and I did that with my product. I'll go ahead and link a video here for you guys to check out on how you can do that as well. But overall, it can be really expensive because people tend to choose expensive products to sell on Amazon, hoping to make a big profit off of it, but it's not always the case. Another con is that there are some real problems with the Amazon site and some concerns that you can have. Like I mentioned a little earlier, you can be kicked off of Amazon and really at any point. Also sometimes for really no knowledge at all as to why you were kicked off to something. So Amazon has full control of that, and that's a little scary if you want to have some consistency or make sure that you can rely on your product being on Amazon. There could be a lot of reasons why you are suspended or kicked off of selling your product on Amazon. It could be that you broke some very small rule that they have in their massive terms and services list. So that is something that you need to keep up to date with to make sure you're not violating any of those rules. Another con is that Amazon FBA fees are really high, and FBA meaning fulfilled by Amazon. So you're going to be paying them about 15% of your sales to Amazon, where they're doing the picking, packing, and shipping for you of your product. So it depends how you want to look at it. 15% is a pretty high number, and if you're making a lot of money selling your product, that could be a big chunk of your profit. However, they are taking care of everything, so you kind of have to outweigh that cost and see if that works for you. But they do handle everything, returns, the picking, packing, and shipping for you, so that's something you should look into. Another con for Amazon FBA is that you don't own the customer like you do with Shopify. So you don't have access to any customer information. That is for Amazon to have and not for you. So that makes it harder for marketing purposes or just trying to understand who your demographic is. You also cannot ask for customers' feedback or reviews to help improve your product or see how things are doing or to get those 5 stars so that you move up on the product search. You don't have any access to that, and even if you do ask for reviews for your Amazon listing, you're not supposed to. It goes against the Amazon terms and services. If there's another con that you know of that I missed here, put it in the comments below. We'll take a look and you can share with everyone here. One of the biggest cons with Shopify is trying to convince customers to come to your website. Customer traffic might be a lot slower with your own Shopify website compared to Amazon. Again, people know Amazon, they're familiar with it, and they're typing in keywords all the time into Amazon. However, with Shopify, you're gonna have to convince them to go to your website, and that is gonna take a different form of marketing. You have to use outside sources, maybe Instagram and social medias in general, to convince them to go to a site they've never even heard of. But once they're on your website, now you have to convince the customer that it is safe to purchase from your site. So they have to feel comfortable with providing their credit card information, their home info, etc. And a lot of the times, depending on your site, there's that extra step of, is this a safe place to enter all of my personal information? On Amazon, customers also have the safety of a 30-day money-back guarantee. And although you can provide this on your own website, it's again another barrier that they're unsure whether that's actually true. You know, anyone creating their website can really write write anything they want, and the only thing is that they have to kind of trust that you're actually going to follow what you say on your website. So it's just another barrier. Another con with Shopify is that you have to do your own fulfillment. So you have to be the one that ships out the products, manages your inventory, etc. And on Amazon, you don't have to do that. Amazon takes care of that pick, pack, and ship process for you, where you will have to do that on your own through the website. Now, you can on Shopify perhaps hire a 3PL, so a third-party logistics company, to handle that inventory and management of shipping them out, but that's an extra cost that you'll have to consider, and it's not as streamlined as it is on Amazon. However, Shopify is taking steps to perhaps incorporate this type of 3PL within their own company, so that can help streamline the process. However, it hasn't happened yet, and who knows when it will, hopefully soon. If there are any Shopify cons that I've missed, make sure to put it in the comments below. So the big question is, should you start a Shopify business or an Amazon business? If you wanted to start an Amazon business, there are different methods to selling your product. There's private label, retail arbitrage, and etc. But it's not always a sustainable method. On Shopify, there's a drop shipping method, which doesn't always really work unless you're selling a high quality product. So really the main focus is, what is it that you're selling on either Amazon or Shopify? What is a good, unique product that makes customers come back? And that's something that you'll have to decide. But my main answer to this big question of which platform should you use, the answer is do both. It's going to be a trial and error process for you, but if you have the option to do both, you might as well try it out and compare them side to side on how your product is performing. Selling it on Amazon allows you to have a huge customer base. You also have a good product against other competitors. You also have the ability to get reviews and really show up on a ranking. And selling it on Shopify allows for discounts and coupons and internet marketing opportunities, just like affiliates or influencers, etc. Selling a unique product allows you to tackle the beast that is Amazon, and having your own personal website allows you to expand your unique brand. If you're looking to do the Amazon FBA route, I did just share a full detailed video on how to do this in just 5 steps. So click the video here and I'll catch you in that one.